You know, the quotes are very powerful. Why? Because they are very simple, yet they have powerful meanings, and also they easily get stick in our brain and in our mind. So when we go through tough times in life, when we go through problems, they will help us immensely. So that is why it is very important to keep in your memory some motivational and inspirational quotes. Okay, so this quote from the Buddha has helped me in many times in my life, and it changed the whole perspective about how we should deal with the people in the society. How can I deal with the people in the society? So the quote goes like this. The Buddha says, Sabbang paravasang dukkhang, sabbang issariyang sukhang, sadharane vihanyanti, yogahi duratikkamo. The Buddha says, Sabbang paravasang dukkhang. All under another's control is a suffering. Sabbang issariyang sukhang. All under your control, what is under your control is a blessing for your life. Sadharane vihanyanti. The one who expects this world to be equal to everyone and to fair to everyone, he will end up stressed. And yogahi duratikkamo. Finally, he says, to escape from the bonds from this world and these expectations and attachments from this world is a very, very tough task. So this is the powerful quote that changed the perspective about the society in my life. Why? Because Buddha says, what is under others' control is a suffering. Because in life, we are so busy trying to control what is not under our control. Okay? So what are the things that are not under your control? People's reaction, people's criticism, and how people behave in front of you, how people think of you, what happens to you in the future, all these things are not under your control. The Buddha says that all that is not under your control is a suffering. So do not try to change it. Do not worry about it, because you will end up in suffer. And in the second line, the Buddha says, all that is under your control is a blessing for your life. So it is very important to know what is under your control. So what are the things that are under your control? Everything, every experience that happens to you is not under your control. You know it now. But the reaction towards the every experience is under your control. Okay? People will come and trigger you to be angry. Okay? People can try to make you angry, but you have to make the choice to be angry. So that choice is under your control. You made that choice. So your thoughts, how you think, your thought pattern, your habits, right? Everything that is personal in your life is under your control. If you can do something about it, do it. Go for it and change it. Then you can find the peacefulness and happiness. So it is very important to know what is under your control and what is not. Then you can live happily in this world. So in the third line, the Buddha says, Sadharane vihanyanti. The one who chase behind the fairness and the ones who expect this world to be fair and equal will end up stressed. You see, this world is built up upon the unfairness, right? If you want to make this whole world fair and equal, right, you will not get that result, okay? So that is why if you expect that everything to be fair, you will end up stressed. That is what Buddha says. And the Buddha says, yogahi duratikkamo. It is very difficult to escape from all these attachments and bonds towards this world. Because when you get too much attached to something, you know what happens. You will end up in suffering. These quotes has helped me in my life in many times. So I think it will be helpful for yourself too. So keep these quotes in your mind and use them whenever you go through tough times in your life. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Welcome and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to discuss with you about how can we become peaceful and how can we become calm from our mind. Now, we know that we are living in a world where we are constantly bombarded and constantly overloaded with information, with distractions, and all of the chaos. So what happens when we live in such an environment is we become so reactive and we tend to lose our peacefulness, we tend to lose our calmness in our mind. And then what happens is our frustration, stress, and depression builds in. So how can we deal with this? And what can we do to eliminate these distractions and this constant chatter in our mind and have a peaceful mind in the middle of chaos? So today I'm going to share a few tips where you can practice in your daily life. And then you can, if you practice this, it will be a great help to find peacefulness and calm in the middle of all the chaos. So the first thing that you have to understand is calmness and peacefulness is not an outer source. It doesn't come from outer world, right? It can be found within. So no matter where you live, no matter what the place you live, no matter what you do, if you really focus on this calmness, and if you're clever enough to find that, then you will be able to find the calmness and peacefulness in the middle of all the chaos. So always remember, calmness and peacefulness should be built and should be developed within, okay? And also, you have to remember one thing, that calmness and peacefulness is not about emptying your mind, right? When you become calm and peaceful, it doesn't say that there's nothing in your mind, no thoughts in your mind, right? Thoughts may appear in your mind, right? There will be lots of thoughts and train of thoughts will be appear in your mind. But when you become really calm and when you become serene from your mind, you tend to not to react to all those stimulations. That is what the real calmness and peacefulness means, okay? Normally, when the thoughts appear, right, when all these kind of trains of thoughts appear in our mind, what happens to us is we oftenly react to them, right? We become panicked and we tend to react to them. So the reason why this happens is because we think the thoughts as us. And we tend to think that I am what I think and I am my thoughts. But in reality, thoughts are not you. You are not your thoughts, right? Thoughts are just like they're coming and going. It's like clouds, right? There's the sky and there's the clouds, right? So what is the nature of a cloud? It comes and it swarms around and it goes off, right? Sometimes the sky is cloudy, sometimes the sky is moody, sometimes the clouds are scattered here and there, and sometimes the sky is empty. So you are like the sky and your thoughts are like the clouds, okay? So there's a huge distance between the sky and the clouds. But we often think that the clouds as the sky. Sometimes when it is raining, sometimes when it is moody, we blame to the sky, right? We tend to say that, oh, this weather is not okay. The sky is always raining and it's moody. But sky is not raining. Clouds are what forms the rain, right? Clouds forms the rain. So same as that, when the thoughts appear in your mind, you can take a little step back and think, should I react to this? Should I react upon these thoughts? For an example, if an angry thought came to your mind, what should you do? Just pause a little bit and think, should I react to this? You can have a little bit of a time and think about it. Oh, this is anger. I should not react to this. This is jealousy. I should not react to this. Okay, it's okay to have thoughts in your mind, but if you want to be peaceful, you should not, and you should choose to not to react to those thoughts. So there are a few practices where we can do in our daily life to to make a little bit of a help to this peacefulness and calmness. One thing that you can do is that you can slow down your body movement for a little time period of the day. Maybe like when you have time and when you're working by yourself, maybe like you're walking, maybe like you're writing something, or maybe like you're studying. Try to maintain slow body movements. Now, why I say this? Because our body and our mind is highly interconnected. Okay? When our thoughts become panicked, our body become panicked. So in the other way, if we calm down and if we slow down our bodily movements, it will be a great help for us to slow down the thought process. Then you can take a little time and think about what comes to your mind. That is one thing that you can do. And also there's another great practice that Buddha told us to do, that is called breathing meditation. When you do the breathing meditation, you reduce these heavy loads of thoughts into two thoughts: in breath and out breath. In breathing meditation, all what we are doing is you are constantly becoming aware of in breath and out breath. When you do that, it's sort of like condensing your mind. It's sort of like making your mind soft and peaceful and non-reactive. That is what you can do. And also there's another thing that you can do is to not to judge your thoughts and to be aware of your thoughts. I will give you an example. It's like you're watching a traffic pass by the side of the road, right? You can see cars and bikes and vans and buses are going, but you're not going to judge them. You're not going to stop them. You're not going to chase behind them. You sit by the road and you just watch them. Let the vehicles be the vehicles and you be you. In the same way, let the thoughts be the thoughts and you be you. When you become less reactive to your thoughts, you can find that peacefulness and calmness in your mind. So I hope you got some light about the calmness and peacefulness from this video. So I hope may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you be calm and peaceful forever. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Now, a couple of days ago, I met this young gentleman, and he was in his 30s. He was very young, and he said that he has been practicing spirituality, meditation, and Buddhism for a long period of time, more than 4 years. And he said, all of a sudden, unfortunately, his parents died because of a car crash. And with that incident, none of his spiritual practices and meditations and what he have learned about the spirituality and Buddhism, none of them worked. And he started to grieve and suffer, and the pain, he could not handle it. So he asked from me, how can I handle this grief, and how can I handle this losing loved ones? So here's the thing. It is very difficult. I know it is very difficult to handle this situation, because losing loved ones is one of the most difficult things and most difficult pains that we have to go through in all of our lives. Okay, the Buddha said that this is one of the truths in our life. We all have to face, no matter where we are born, no matter who we are, we all have to go through this situation. Either we are going to lose our loved ones, or they are going to lose us. Okay, this is the truth in our life. But how can we handle the pain when we go through these tough times? It is all about practice. And it is, and also remember, no matter how much you practice the spirituality, and no matter how much you practice these meditations, all the things about the spirituality, don't think that you are going to be okay with losing loved ones. Okay, you will definitely feel sadness. You will definitely feel that grief inside you, because that is the truth in our life. But there are several things that we can do to handle this pain. Okay, there are several things that we can do to get up from this pain. It is not about how often you fall down. It is about how you stand up and how you bounce back from that difficult situation.
So one thing that we have to remember is that one advice that Buddha gave us is try to recall and try to reflect about the life, the truth in this life, that I'm going to lose every loving person around me. Now, this may seem scary to you because no one likes to think that they are going to lose the loving people, maybe their parents, maybe their husband and wife, children. No one likes to think about it. They're going to lose that person. But the reality is that one day we have to face that situation. No one can deny it. No one can deny the truth. Okay? So when you think about it and when you get ready for that situation, to make up your mind to face that situation with a strong mind, then it is very easy for you to ease the pain. It doesn't mean that you don't feel the pain. It means that it will help you to ease the pain and get out from it and get on with your life again. Okay? So the Buddha said, oftenly, this is one advice from the Buddha. The Buddha said, Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti abhinnang pachavekitham pada. Oftenly reflect that I am going to lose loving people around me one day. Okay? When you know that, when you think about it in the correct way, you know that you don't have much time with these people. You have a little time with these people. In this human world, we have a little time, right? We don't have much time. So you know that if we were able to live like more than 90 years, okay, that is very lucky, that we are very lucky. So that is the thing. We have little time on this earth. Okay, we have little time with these people. In that little time, if we know that we are going to lose them, in that little time, we can cherish the memories, and we can be with them. We can treat them kindly. We can treat them with compassion. Okay, and we can be a good person to them, be a good memory to them. So if you became a good memory to the people around you, then you don't have to worry about losing them. Why? Because you became a good person to them. Okay, you made them happy and you treated them kindly. That is what they need, and that's what people need. That's what people around us need from us. Okay, so in that little time we gave the best we can. Okay, so in that way you can be happy. Okay, although this person left me, although my parents died or left me, although my husband or wife, my children left me, I don't want to worry about it because I became a happy memory, a good memory to them. I treated them nicely and kindly while they were alive. Okay, by thinking that, you can be happy, but you get the chance to think about it only when you think about that you're going to lose them one day. Okay, so thinking about losing loved ones is not that negative. Okay, if you think it in a correct way. So if you have gotten ready for that, then you think like, oh, this is what I have expected, and I was expecting this. Okay, so in that way, remember, one day we all have to go through this situation. If we can make up our mind to be a good person and to be a good memory to them, then that is the best thing that you can do. And also remember one thing, okay? There are people, loving people around you, and they became the source of happiness of yourself. And when they die, don't make them the source of your pain. Okay, if they see you that you're wailing and you're crying and you're lamenting and you're worrying about their death, they will not be happy. And also remember, the people who lived around you became the source of your happiness. So after their death, do not make them the source of your pain and agony. So keep them in your mind. So treat people nicely and kindly while they are alive, and then you can be happy with your life. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to answer a question from the comment section. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I came across this comment asking, how can we make correct decisions in our life? How can we make correct choices in our life? Well, to learn about this, let's take a look at a sutta from the Buddha's teachings. Okay, there's a sutta named Ambalattika Rahulovada Sutta. In that sutta, Buddha advises monk Rahula. Buddha asks from monk Rahula, Rahula, what do you think about this? What is the purpose of the mirror? Then monk Rahula says, the purpose of the mirror is to check our reflection, sir. Then the Buddha says, same like that, whenever you are going to do anything from your body, from your mind, from your words, you have to do it after repeatedly checking on it. Okay, you have to be mindful and you have to think about it, you have to check it, and then after that you have to do it. Then in that sutta, Buddha further explains how to repeatedly check our actions. Buddha says, whenever you're going to do anything from your body, let's say you're going to do something from your body, okay? Then you have to think like this. Buddha says, is this deed that I'm going to do now hurts myself? Is it going to hurt myself? Or is it going to hurt others, other people around me? And the Buddha says, you have to think that is it going to hurt both of us, for me and for the others? Okay? And then the Buddha says that you have to think that is it a skillful thing or a good thing or a wholesome thing or an unwholesome thing? Does it give happiness to my life? Does it bring happiness and mental serenity and calmness to my life? Then the Buddha says that if you find that action that you're going to do is unskillful and it hurts for yourself and to the others, and it is unskillful and it brings suffering to your life, then you should, by all means, you should not do it. Okay? So that is a bad choice. That means that you are going to make a bad choice. Okay? Then the Buddha says, if you find the action that you're going to perform in your life, okay, if you're going to perform an action which is good, which brings the happiness to your life, which makes the happiness and which benefits for you and for the others and both of you, if it is skillful, then by all means you have to do it. Now, what does Buddha means in this advice? Buddha says that means you have to, before you are going to do anything from your body, from your mind, from your words, you have to be mindful. You have to think, what am I going to do now? Right? Is it good or bad? Is it wholesome or unwholesome? You have to think about the consequences of your choices. If you're aware of the consequences of your choices, then you will make good choices. Okay? Most of the time, the reason why we are making bad decisions and bad choices is we are not aware of the consequences of that action. And we are not mindful about what we are doing now. So, in your life, before taking any decision, just pause, take a rest, and pause and think, hey, what I'm going to do now, is it beneficial for myself? And is it beneficial for others? Okay? And does it hurt myself? Does it hurt others? Okay? When you think about that, you can make correct decisions. Okay? And you have to be brave enough to choose the harder path, difficult path, because making correct decisions and doing good things is not an easy task. It is always difficult. Although it is difficult, if you practice it, if you constantly do it, no matter what happens, you can bring the happiness to your life. So the best thing to do to make correct decision is to pause first, okay, and think about it, repeatedly check on it, and be mindful and consider whether it is going to be beneficial for my life or to the others, and then make correct decisions. That is how we make good choices and correct decisions in our life. So that is what I have to share in this video. So I wish you all, may all of you be happy and safe forever. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. Today, let's talk about how can we apply the meditation to a busy life. Now, I know most of you have a very, very busy life and you have a tight schedule, okay? Now, but in the same time, you want to meditate. So that's where you find the problem, right? You have a busy life and you're worried about it. You have a distracted mind, and we all get distracted when we have a busy life, but we all need to meditate. But there's a problem. What is that? How can we apply the meditation to this busy schedule? Right? It is very difficult. So many people complain to us that I cannot meditate because I'm very, very busy. I have a lot of things to be done. I have a lot of responsibilities. How can I deal with it? Well, this depends on how you look at the meditation, right? Now, when we imagine the word meditation, what is the picture that we imagine? We imagine a person sitting in a quiet and a comfortable place, and he's closing his eyes with his legs crossed, right? And he's doing meditation. Okay, but meditation is not only that sitting meditation. It is also a part of meditation, but it is not the meditation. Okay, meditation is more easy and more practical than you think. So today I'm going to introduce you to a little practice that you can practice in your busy schedule while you're having a lot of responsibilities and while you're being busy, and you can do this meditation. This is all about mindfulness. Now, should we sit in a quiet place to be mindful? No. Okay? To be mindful, you can be in a whatever posture, do whatever you want to do, and you can still be mindful. That is the beauty of this practice, the mindful practice. Okay? Now, let's say you're having a busy schedule and you don't have the time to sit and meditate. So, what we have to do is we can choose something that we do daily, right? Let's say almost every one of you have 2 meals per day, at least 2 meals per day. Okay? Let's take breakfast. Let's say you're having your breakfast. Okay? Normally, in an average day, what do you do when you're having breakfast? Sometimes you read a newspaper. Sometimes you watch TV. Sometimes you scroll through social media. Sometimes you use the mobile. Sometimes you call to some friends. Okay? Instead of doing all those things, okay, instead of distracting yourself while eating, while having your breakfast, why can't you be mindful about having the breakfast, about the action of eating? Okay, so that is the beauty of mindfulness. Mindfulness can be applied to every action in our daily life. No matter where we do it, no matter what we do it, no matter when we do it, we can apply mindfulness to our daily life. So let's say you're having a breakfast. Okay, just set aside all the distractions, your TV, maybe your mobile phone, your newspaper. You just focus on the taste. Okay, if you're eating from your hand, or if you're eating from your spoon or a fork, doesn't matter. You just feel the taste. When you place the food inside your mouth, you start to feel this taste. What we can do is just bring our mind to that sensation, to what we feel. Okay, and do this from one by one. Okay, one step at a time. Let's say you took one bite at a time and you become mindful about it. You feel the taste. Okay, because most of the time when we are eating, we are not aware of this taste, right? Our mind runs here and there, runs and catch into one and other thoughts, and it becomes distracted. So what we can do is we can bring our mind back to this taste and this sensation that we feel in the present moment. When you eat, you feel the taste in the present moment. Once you feel it, once you identify it, and once you focus your mind to it, that is what you call mindfulness. That is what you call meditation. Okay? So this is a simple practice. Every day, choose one meal, maybe lunch, maybe dinner, maybe breakfast. Choose one meal and focus on just eating. Okay, eat while you eat. Don't use the mobile phone while you eat. Don't watch TV while you eat. Don't use other distractions while you're eating, because when we distract ourselves, right, we miss a chance to practice the meditation in a daily life. One day, one lady came up to me, and when we were discussing, I asked from her, do you meditate? Then she said, no, I don't have time to meditate. Then I introduced this little practice of mindful eating to her. Then you cannot complain that you don't have time to meditate. Remember, meditation is everywhere. You can do it whenever you want, wherever you want. Okay? So add this little practice of mindful eating to your life, and then you don't have to worry about not having the time to meditate, because being mindful is meditation. Just keep that in your mind. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today it is raining and it is quite misty out here, and it is very peaceful. It is about rain. I have read this somewhere else. I cannot remember the quote. It says, rain feeds two types of people. Okay, rain is the food for two types of people. The first one is the meditator, and the second one is the lazy person. Okay, for a meditator, for a person who likes to meditate, rain is the best food and it is the best environment. Okay, and also for the lazy person, it is the best environment for him as well. Okay, so let's talk about the meditation today a little bit. So what about the vipassana? How to practice it? Now, vipassana gives the meaning, the word gives the meaning that to see something clearly, to see something as it is. Okay, this practice was introduced by the Buddha himself. Okay, so how can we practice it? There's one verse that Buddha explains about the vipassana. It is very nice. And the Buddha says, Atitang nanva gameya napati kanke anagatang. That means, do not run into past and do not hope for the future. Yadatitang pahinatang apatang cha anagatang. What is past, it is gone. And what is future hasn't yet come. Okay? And then the Buddha said, Pachupannanchayo dhammang tattha tattha vipassati. Everything that occurs in this present moment are conditioned. Everything that we experience and we sense in this world are conditioned, that they arise due to conditions. Pachupannanchayo dhammang tattha tattha vipassati. You have to wisely reflect on all those things, all those sensations that occurs in this present moments, and wisely. Okay, that is about the vipassana. Vipassana is all about bringing your mind into this present moment and become the observer in it. Now, normally we react to everything that we sense. Okay, there are lots of sensations coming from this outer world, and what happens with us is we react to them always. Okay, either it is with the consciousness, we consciously react to something, and also sometimes unconsciously we react to certain things. Okay, so the Buddha said, be mindful about those sensations and do not react. Instead of reacting, try to observe it. Do not judge the thoughts, do not judge the feelings, be the observer. Okay, for an example, let's say you got blamed by someone. Okay, and you come home with this mind inside you, all those words inside you, all those insults inside you, and you come home and you sit on the bed, maybe lie down on the bed and look at the ceiling, and you start to worry. Okay, but the reality, let's take the reality of this situation. Okay, now let's say someone is insulting you. When someone insults you, you hear that sound in that moment, in the present moment. As soon as that person finished insulting you, everything that he has spoken is gone. Isn't that true? What you heard, what you heard is gone. Now, what I have spoken before in the beginning of this video is gone now. It's finished. Okay, it has vanished. But deep in our mind, we recreate all those sensations, we recreate all those emotions and feelings and all those words in our mind, and we start to worry about it. Sometimes we start to be happy about certain things. If that makes you happy, we start to be happy about it. Isn't that true? That is the thing. So what Buddha said is, be mindful about it. Just observe it. Do not try to react to your thoughts. Okay? When the happiness comes in, we don't try to suppress our thoughts, and also we don't try to express our thoughts. What we can do is we can be in the middle and we can observe the thoughts. Okay? When happiness comes in, we let that comes in. We let that come in and we become the observer. Do not react. Not reacting. Just see it arise and see it pass away. Okay? It is something that you watch a traffic by the side of the road. You sit down the side of the road and you watch the traffic. You watch the vehicles pass by. You don't try to stop the vehicles. You don't try to run behind the vehicles. We just try to observe it. We just try to notice it. And we see these vehicles come into our field of vision and it goes away. And you start to realize that every sensation, when you observe your feelings, when you observe all the sensations that happens within you, you start to feel that nothing stays forever. It is impermanent. It has the nature of arising and it has the nature of passing away. Every sensation, everything that we feel in, and everything that we feel in our world is impermanent. So that is what about the vipassana. When you practice that, you can go into a silent place, maybe sit down on a chair, maybe sit down on the floor and close your eyes. And slowly, you can observe what comes into your mind. Okay? And be the observer. Do not try to react with them. Okay? When you see happiness come in, you see that happiness come in and you observe it and it goes away. When you see that sad thoughts come in, you feel that and you observe it and you let it go. That is how you become mindful and when you practice vipassana. When you do that, you start to realize that one thing in every aspect and every sensation in your life, and that is impermanence. Once you realize this nature of impermanence, that is what you call the realization of truth. Okay? So keep that in your mind and practice it. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to discuss about another good quality that we all need to practice in our life, but we often forget this to practice. Now, what is this? It is called mudita. In another word, it is called appreciative joyfulness. What do you mean by this mudita? Mudita is the ability of being happy when you see someone else's happiness. For an example, let's say you're on social media and in the same time you're having a bad day. Now, when you scroll down, you see these nice pictures of people enjoying their life, living the best days in their life, being happy, and you're not having that life currently. In that case, what do you feel? First, the first thing that we feel is we feel down about ourselves. We think like, my life is terrible. My life is worse. Okay? And the next step is for some people, they feel a little bit of angry about those people. And that is called envy. Okay? So the Buddha teaches us to practice mudita to avoid jealousy in your mind or avoid envy in your mind. Okay? So how to do that? This is a very simple practice, but to get used to it is very, very difficult because for a long time, for a long period of time, we have practiced this envy in our mind. Okay? You know, the nature of mind is the more we practice something for a long time, it gets normal. Okay? It gets easier. That is why we are so good at these evil things like, being angry, okay, being jealous, being distracted, okay, and being envious on others. That is why we are so good at those things. The Buddha teaches us to practice as a daily practice this practice of mudita, being happy on other people's happiness. Okay, let's say now you're seeing someone who is better than you, okay, more successful than you, more pretty than you, more clever than you. Let's say you're seeing someone like that. The first thing that you have to do is you have to wish the well-being of them, right? Think like, may they be successful even more. May they be happy even more in their life. You have to wish this from the bottom of your heart. You have to mean it and you have to feel it. Okay? When you do that, you feel happy. Okay? You don't feel the discomfort of envy. And also, in the same time, when you generate these mudita, thoughts of mudita, you generate a huge power in your mind to heal your mind and to be successful in your personal life. Okay, that is the power of mudita. Being jealousy, being envy on someone's life will never help you to be successful. Okay, will never get you anywhere. One of the things that my teacher has taught me in my life is that don't be jealousy on someone's life, because jealousy will never help you to be successful. Okay? Jealousy will never help you to thrive and be more productive. And it will keep you in the same place, okay? Without being successful, keep you in the same place, and it lets you to be angry on other people. So what we have to do, whenever we see some people who are better than us, we have to think that may they be better than us even more. Okay, may they be happy in their life even more. And that is called mudita. Okay, you can do, and you can start this practice from the people who are around you. Okay, there are people around you in your home, in your family. Start from them. Okay, wish the well-being of people around you. Okay, wish the well-being of your neighbors, your people who are in your city, your classroom, your school, your country. Okay, if you can spread those thoughts of mudita, you try and say this, you will feel much better in your heart. Okay, even when you feel down, and even when you are in your bad days in your life, you can be happy about your life because you are not comparing your life to other people. The reason why we feel jealousy and envy in our mind is we are constantly comparing our life to other people's life. We are so good at that. The more we compare our life to other people's life, the more we feel down about our personal life. Okay, so this is not something that we have to do. Okay, instead of harboring jealousy and envy in our mind, the Buddha teaches us practice the thoughts of mudita. Be happy on seeing other people's happiness. When you practice this, you will feel a big difference in your mind. Okay, and you will feel a big success in your personal life. So remember, mudita is the best medicine for the envy and jealousy in our mind. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. You know what? Today we are going to have a storm to our monastery, right? It's a big storm incoming. And the sky is getting gloomy and gloomy little by little. But you know what? A few hours ago, the whole monastery was shining and it was bathed with sunlight, right? So the weather changes so rapidly, the nature changes so rapidly. So as our life.
In life, some days we have storms, right? Sometimes we are very happy. Sometimes we celebrate our life like shiny days, right? Like sunny days. But sometimes it becomes gloomy. All of a sudden it becomes gloomy. It becomes so moody, right? So we feel down, we feel terrible, like we feel depressed, right? And for some days, there's nothing special, like the empty sky, right? So this is life. It always changes, okay? So today, I'm going to talk about this one habit that we all have been through and that can affect us in many ways in our life, and that is the habit of overthinking, right? You know, we all have been through that situation that we have overanalyzed situations, and we have expected worst case scenarios, and we have kept on thinking about certain things, what will happen in the future, what has happened in the past. That is very painful, and it steals our peacefulness in our life. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you few tips that can manage the habit of overthinking and to stop the habit of overthinking. So let's dive into the video. So the first thing that we have to know before doing any kind of thing is to identify what triggers you, what makes you overthink, right? Because without identifying and without knowing what makes you overthink, you cannot deal with it, you cannot manage it, right? So for people, it may be different ways of triggers. Sometimes people have some fears about talking with other people, right? People have fears about like traveling alone, right? Sometimes people have a fear about what other people think of me, okay? So it is different from one person to another. So the first thing is to identify what makes you overthink, what triggers you. Once you know it, write it down on a paper, okay? Okay, this is what makes me overthink. This is what making me troubles. Okay, that is the first step, identifying what triggers you to overthink. And then the next step, the second step is to be mindful about that trigger and that emotion. Okay, because once you identify your trigger, right, what makes you overthink, you can be mindful about it, you can identify it. Once those thoughts comes to your mind, like maybe a fear, maybe like a worry, maybe like a sadness, when it comes to your mind, just if you practice this mindfulness, you can catch that thought, you can identify that thought. Now I'm going to worry, now I'm worrying, right? Now I have this fear in my mind. Because when you become mindful, you understand about it and you know about it, you become aware of it, then you will have the power to control it, right? Always remember, you cannot control anything that you don't know about and you're not aware about, right? So the second thing is to be aware and to be mindful about your thought. This is one thing that stuck in my mind for a long time, that a thought is just a thought until we give the power to control it ourselves. Okay, so what we have to know, understand the thought as just a thought, right? Don't give the power to control it, right? Don't judge the thought, don't try to stop the thought, right? Just identify it as just a simple thought, as any other thought. Okay, that is the second step. And the third step, you can challenge yourself. You can challenge your mind. Ask from your mind. Whenever you catch yourself overthinking, ask from your mind, is this real? Am I worrying about a real thing or a realistic thing? Is that going to happen in reality? So when you think about that, you will come across these conclusions. No, it's not going to happen. Why am I worrying about it? Right? Why am I thinking about it? I don't want to do that, right? It will steal my peacefulness.
Okay, so when you think like that, you know what is going inside your mind. So the whole point and the whole secret about stopping this overthinking pattern is to know what is going inside your mind. Okay, that is one thing that you can do to challenge your thoughts. And then the next step is to take action. There is no any other remedy for all these problems, all these mental restrictions that you have in your mind other than taking actions. Okay, I don't suggest you to take big actions. What you have to do is to take small step, to do little things that you feel like a fear and a worry about things. Okay, just go for it and take action. If you have a fear of talking with a person, just for a little time go and talk with him. Plan it and go and talk with him. If you have a fear of traveling alone, just try it a little bit. Okay, it will make you more confident about it. So the fourth step is to take action. Okay, and then the final step, if you feel like your overthinking pattern, your habit is troubling you and it is restricting you and it is holding you back from doing great things and becoming great, then you have to seek for help, right? Remember, you don't have to travel this journey alone. You have to seek for the help from trusted people. Maybe your trusted friend, it may be one of your family friends, maybe one of your relations, maybe your parents, maybe a counselor. Seek for help, right? Don't be shy and don't be afraid to ask for help and to reveal what is going inside your mind. When you reveal yourself and when you seek for the help, always there are people who can help you. Okay, so you are not alone in this world. Even 73%, you know that 73% of the young people in the age range of 25 to 35 suffer from chronic overthinking. So you are not alone in this world. Okay, so what we have to do is to first thing to identify what triggers you, second thing to be mindful, and then to challenge your thoughts and take action. And if all those things does not work, seek for the help, and always the help will be given to you. So these are the few things and the little things that you can practice in your life to overcome the pattern and the habit of overthinking. So I wish all the best in your journey of overcoming the overthinking patterns and living a life more productive and more happy. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at the viewpoint of our monastery. It's a nice view out here. So in this video, let's talk about the gratefulness and the gratitude. Now, this is one of the major qualities that we practice in Buddhism. Okay, Buddha considered the gratitude and the gratefulness as the mother of all the good qualities. In Mahamangala Sutta, the Buddha says, having a grateful mind is a blessing for your life. Okay, so how can we practice this gratitude? And what is the meaning of gratitude? Now, the word that is given to gratitude, given for the gratitude in Buddhism is called katanyuta. Katanyuta means the ability to remember what one have done to you. That means the helps that have done to you. If you can remember the people and the helps that you have given, okay, people have done to you, then that is called the gratitude. So how can we practice this? Well, you can be grateful and you can be thankful for almost everything in your life. For an example, let's say you wake up in the morning, and then what you can do is you can be grateful for your life, okay? For waking up in the morning, for breathing, and for having a life. Because most of the times, like so many people last night, they could not wake up in the morning, okay? So we can be grateful for our life. And then if, let's say, you take your food plate to your hand,
you can practice gratitude in there. How? You can be grateful for the people who made that food. Maybe your wife, maybe your husband, maybe someone who helped you. Okay? So you can be grateful for them. You can say that, thank you. Okay, you can say that, thank you. I'm grateful for you. Okay? Because of you people, I live happily and I live in comfort in my life. When you do that, you practice that mind of gratitude in your life. Okay? And also, there are so many things that you can be grateful for. Okay? Let's say you're using a computer, right? You can be grateful for your computer because it makes your life so much easier. You can be grateful for the people who made that computer. Okay? And also, let's say you're walking down a street, okay, and you're walking down a nice lane, and then you can be grateful for the people who made the road. Okay, you can be grateful for the nature that you're around. Here's the thing, you can be grateful for everything in your life, because sometimes it is difficult for us to be happy with our life. Okay, because when we go through tough times, when we hit the problems in our life, we start to think like, my life is not valuable. Okay, my life is worthless and there's nothing to be happy about my life. But if you really think about it, if you really consider about it, there are thousands and thousands of things that we can be happy about and we can be thankful for. Okay, so that is what you call the Buddhist positive thinking. Okay, but they consider this as the blessing for your life. And also the Buddha said in Mahamangala Sutta, Buddha mentions that santutti and katanyuta is a blessing for your life. Santutti means being happy with what you have, and katanyuta means being grateful for what you have. These two qualities are a blessing for your life. It makes your life so much fulfilled and so much happier. Okay, so in every morning, take a little time to practice this gratitude in your life. Okay, wake up in the morning and say that, I am thankful for my life. Okay, I am thankful for the people who lived around me, who helped me, okay, who was there with me in my life in the hardest times. And also in the same time, we can be happy about the tough times and bad people in our life too. Okay, so many people don't think about this, because we become grateful for only for the good people and the good situations in our life. No, we can be grateful for the bad people and difficult situations in our life. How can we do that? Well, because of the bad people and because of the bad situations and tough situations in our life became so much interesting, right? Imagine if your life became all the things, like you got all the things you wanted, okay? And there were all the people who were good and nice to you, okay? You didn't face any tough situations in your life. There's nothing much interesting about your life. But because of the bad people and because of the tough situations and the bad days in our life became so much interesting, no? Because there's a story for us to tell. Okay, there is an interesting story for us to tell. That is why the more we face tough situations, our life becomes so much interesting. So we can be thankful for the bad people and say, like, thank you for giving me tough times. Thank you for bringing me the giving me the ability and giving me the ability to practice the patience and love and kindness and compassion for you because of you people. In that way, you see, if you think about it, you can be grateful for every situation and everything in your life. So every single day when you wake up in the morning, take a little moment to say thank you for everything and every people and every person in your life. So keep that in your mind and practice this wonderful quality of gratitude. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to today's video. Today, in this video, I'm going to discuss about a simple question that most of the people ask from Buddhist monks. And the question is very simple. It is, what is Buddhism?
It seems to be a simple question, but it is very complicated when you're trying to give an answer for this question. So let's try to find an answer for this question today. So many people ask that, is Buddhism a religion? Or is it a philosophy? Or is it a way of life? Now, first of all, what is your opinion about this? Is it a religion? Do you feel it is like a religion? Do you feel it is like a philosophy, or it is like more like a way of life? What do you think about it? Well, this is the thing. If I can give a simple answer for Buddhism, what Buddhism is, this is the answer. Buddhism is a profound teaching and a deep teaching that it is very difficult to put it into one basket, one category, saying this is a religion, this is a philosophy, this is a way of life. Why? Because let's say when you visit a Buddhist temple, if you had the chance to visit the Buddhist temple, you will see Buddha statues. People come and worship to the Buddha statues. They offer flowers and they offer so many offerings to the Buddha statues, and they worship and they do all sort of things. When you see that, you may start to think, oh, this is a religion, okay? In the same time, if you dive into the Buddhist teachings, core Buddhist teachings, and if you read some suttas, what will happen? You will come to an understanding that these teachings, what the Buddha has taught, is so profound and it is more philosophical. It dives into the deep topics in life, like existence and life and impermanence, a lot of things like that. Okay, then you may start to think, well, Buddhism is more philosophical. And in the other way, if you try to practice Buddhism, right? If you try to practice Buddhism by practicing virtues and practicing meditation, it becomes more of a way of life. Okay? So what exactly is Buddhism? How can we understand? Well, the one answer that I can give when you sum up all the Buddhist teachings, okay, the one answer that I can give is Buddhism is all about Four Noble Truths. The Buddha said, dukkha is the first noble truth. Life is based upon unsatisfactoriness. Okay? Then the samudaya is the second noble truth, and that is the unsatisfactoriness is based on, it origins because of the craving and the desires in our life. Okay? And the third is the nirodha. If you let go of the craving and the desires in your life, you will end up the unsatisfactoriness. And finally, the fourth noble truth is the magga, the path that leads to letting go of this unsatisfactoriness. Okay? Removing that unsatisfactoriness. And that is the Noble Eightfold Path. So this Four Noble Truth is all about Buddha's teachings. Okay? But when you see the Buddhist traditions and Buddhist rituals, you will see people are worshipping. Then it has a part of religion. Okay? People worship, but it is not in the way of a religion that people think it is a religion. Because the definition of the word religion is constant worshipping and believing into a supernatural and superhuman being or a god. In that sense, Buddhism is not a religion. It has more philosophical aspects, but it is not just a study of these concepts. You cannot just stop from studying about the impermanence and the existence and everything just as a study. You have to dive into these studies and you have to practice it. It runs beyond the studying. It goes to the practice, and you have to realize by yourself, through yourself, what the reality is. That is what Buddhism is. Okay? So if I said that what Buddhism is, the Buddhism is all about the Four Noble Truths. So that is the answer that I can give to a person who is asking this question, what is Buddhism? It is about the Four Noble Truths and the reality of this world. So keep this in your mind. Namo Buddhaya.